this week's episode of What the Hell Did Robin Just Cut Off of Her Gun Now? That part, because I hated how it looked. It currently looks like this. I'm gonna make another one. Will I ever be satisfied? Hey everyone, it's Vaultbox. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're watching this on the day that it releases and you're not playing Mass Effect, then what are you doing? I really appreciate that you're here watching my video, but I am enough of a person to know that my videos and content are not as good as Mass Effect Legendary Edition. In fact, I am probably playing the Mass Effect Legendary Edition right now as we speak. I'm probably posting a ton of screenshots to Twitter and Instagram, but if you are here for me, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. I just wanted to come on here and talk with you guys about something that has been really bothering me the past week, and it's something that if I would have recognized what was going on earlier, I probably would have had a better time last week working on this project. So I was working on this M8 Avenger last week that is a blaster from the Mass Effect series, and in particular, I'm working on the one from Mass Effect 3, but whatever, it doesn't matter. There will be a tutorial on this in the future. I was essentially getting really down on myself because I was not making it as quickly as I thought I should be making it, as well as not making it as cleanly as I thought I should be making it. But to kind of sum it all up, I was essentially getting so down on myself and so inside of my head that I had to just completely stop crafting for 3 days. I had to just take a pause and step back and try and figure out what was going on. So if you're new to this channel, I tend to do things a little bit unconventionally over here. I am not a big fan of using templates to make things. I'm also not a huge fan, despite the fact that I make tutorials, of following tutorials. And I think a lot of this harkens back to the fact that I absolutely hate playing board games because I don't like following rules and I hate learning rules. I'm one of those people that really just likes to learn as they go. I tend to poke fun at the chaoticness of my crafting in a lot of my videos, and I don't have the pretty work in progress pictures. I don't have the pretty foam smith seams and things like that, and that's not what people come to my channel for. But for whatever reason, I just was absolutely upset with myself that things were not looking like social media perfect, and they just weren't looking the way that I would hope to present them to you guys as a tutorial in order to help you make this thing that I'm currently still trying to make. It is in pieces right now. I know it's gonna sound silly, but I was seriously moping about the fact that my seams weren't clean and my cuts weren't as clean as they should be, and I was just moping about the fact that my prop wasn't looking perfect in the work in progress stage. And now that I say this out loud, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I know that every single cosplayer or maker or even just a hobbyist in general has experienced that phase of working on something where it's like you don't know how that thing is going to look like the end product. But I think even though I was moping about all these really like first world problem type of things as a maker, it was very important for me to do that because it led me to basically write this huge passage in my bullet journal. And whenever I got all of my jumbled thoughts that were in my head onto paper, I really figured out what was going on. What I realized in writing out this little journal entry thing to kind of clear my mind was that I was subconsciously comparing myself to all these work in progress photos, and in some cases even the end product of a finished build. It was really hampering my creativity because I was just like, why doesn't mine look that clean? Or why doesn't mine look like that already? I have worked on this for 20 hours. I am not that type of a crafter. I just have to own that. And the type of person that gets into that creative zone, like where there'll just be foam flying everywhere. And again, a lot of this goes back to me making tutorials on YouTube. I feel like as I'm crafting, I have to get the right shot, or I have to make sure everything's lined up and looking good for you guys. What I really have come to realize about cosplay, and I may have said this in other videos, is that I enjoy seeing people bring their favorite characters to life and seeing what they bring to the table with their specific cosplay. But what I really enjoy talking to other cosplayers about is why they chose that cosplayer, telling me the war stories that they had making that prop, because everyone has a story behind every single cosplay that they've made, every single prop that they've made. I genuinely think that the stories we have behind our projects are some of the coolest things that we have to offer in the cosplay community, and I would love to hear more of them. And you know what? In fact, leave a comment down below. It doesn't even have to be about cosplay, but a prop or something that you've made that it didn't go as planned, or you found yourself having to kind of quickly fix a mistake that you made, or even just if you went to a convention and something on your costume failed and what you did to fix it on the day just so you didn't have like a ruined day or something like that. I think that that would be really interesting to know everyone's different kind of failures and different stories that are behind their costumes. And if I do end up doing that video about like stories of props and things that I've made in the past, I will definitely include some of your stories in the video as well. I don't know, we all bring something different to cosplay, and I think that sometimes whenever we get wrapped up in social media, we may forget that there's a lot of stories that are behind these work in progress photos. There's a lot of stories behind these costumes. We don't know the full picture. We may see a beautiful, fully photoshopped, edited photo on Instagram and be like, wow, I could never do that. In reality, there's probably parts of that cosplay that that cosplayer doesn't like, or that cosplayer had so many issues with getting right. So I'm just trying to get across the idea that, like, don't get so stuck in social media that you forget to be creative yourself. I see a lot of people in my comments saying, I could never do that, I don't have your skills, or I wish I was that talented, or I wish I was that skilled to make something. And if I can do one thing on this channel, it's to let you guys know that yes, you can make that thing. It may take you a little bit longer than, say, I would, because I've got about 5 years experience in working with things. But here's the other thing. I've been working on this stupid M8 Avenger for 2 weeks, and I thought that I would be done with it in 1, because I've made stuff out of foam before and it should have been easy. And well, let me tell you, this gun has humbled me. We all struggle in this hobby because, let's be real, this hobby is basically 100 different hobbies masquerading around in a trench coat, pretending to be one hobby. I've said in previous videos, I have done leatherworking, I've done foam work, I have learned 3D printing, I have done so many singular hobbies within cosplay. That's one of the great things about it, is that there's just so much to learn and so much to absorb. No one is ever going to be a 100% amazing cosplayer. No one is ever going to master every single craft that is needed to make these things. And just remember that you're one person and you're doing your best. And just try to remember that we are all different, and as such, we're all going to be making things differently. There isn't one right way to make a helmet. There isn't one right way to make a prop. We're all going to make something completely different. My FemShep cosplay is going to look different than so-and-so's FemShep cosplay, and that's what is awesome about this. We should be celebrating the fact that someone was able to come up with a different method, or maybe they discovered something new and they're able to share that with the world as well. We all are in different stages of this cosplay life, and like I said earlier, sometimes you might think you know how good you are at something, and then a prop comes along and just humbles the crap out of you. We all have something to learn. We all have something to bring to the table in order to help others learn. And sometimes you, again, just need to be humbled to remember that. I guess this video was all basically me coming on here to say, look, this hobby is hard. It's gonna throw some punches at you, but you just gotta keep going. And it may look like I've got my shit together. I don't. I do not have my shit together. I am lucky that I have been able to make as many props and as many costumes as I have, because most of the time that I'm working on these things, I have no idea if it's going to look like what I want it to look like in the end. And I think that might be important for some of you to understand, especially if you're just getting into this hobby. Like, a lot of this hobby is just being friends with failure and not being afraid to fail and picking yourself up after you fail and learning how to overcome that and how to basically learn from that. This whole topic has kind of been on my mind because I know that the world is starting to open up. I know that that's like a loose term here. I just want to let everyone know that's kind of gotten into cosplay during quarantine, and their only real exposure to cosplay has been through like social media, through Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I just want to let you know, like, it is a completely different world out there whenever you go to a convention or you do cosplay out in the wild and without the filters and all of the, you know, soft boxes and things to soften your facial features and things like that. It's going to be a completely different world. And you're going to realize that a lot of cosplayers, whenever you go to a convention, are just another person. They're just another human being that is just trying to make ridiculous stuff like this wearable for us to go outside and be our favorite characters. So just try to remember that. I do appreciate you guys hanging around till the end of the video. And I know that this video kind of didn't really have a point other than I had some sads about a project that I was working on. I just needed to kind of air my grievances. Let me know your stories behind your props and your costumes, because I genuinely find them interesting. And if you don't want to leave them down in the comments below, you can always hit me up on Instagram or tweet at me on Twitter. And yeah, I will catch you guys next time. Bye!